sales, and I didn't. Anyway, good to hear you in there, Rich, and the rest of the fellas. KZ2N. Just coming in. It was a beautiful day out. I actually got some sun. Not that it's going to make me look any better, but, I feel better.
KB2 UKA.
Ooh,
you're piling in, eh? You dug into it.
All right, we got Chris, Richie, Mike. I think I heard Jim in there. Yep, I was outside all day, nice and crisp at the pool.
You left out Harry and Fred.
Oh, well, I didn't hear them. Harry, Fred, happy Memorial Day Eve, gentlemen. KB2 UKA.
Hey, Doug, right back at you. W2QA.
God, everyone's sounding marvelous on this frequency. God, the audio is superb everywhere.
This is the trigger net on the air. We're all activated.
Yes, I'm activated. I'm ready to go. Ready to go today.
What does that mean when you get activated? Are you allowed to use the bathroom or something, or you could stay after dark? I don't understand. What does activation mean? What are you activated for?
We're ready to do our job, whatever that is, and I think it's a job of freedom and conspiracy theory. That's not really a conspiracy. We're activated. We're ready to go.
Radioactive.
Activated for triggering.
Yes. And when we do trigger someone, then they become activated for a liberal mental meltdown.
Yeah, we're optimized for efficient triggering. It's real easy. All you gotta do is say one word, Trump.
Or like, I can't wait for Donald Trump to win the election.
Just wait. It's going to be a long, hot summer.
Did you make any progress today, Mike?
No, I'm coming up with a plan, Rich.
I got my the new touchscreen monitor. Oh, the thing is gorgeous. I'm not using it now. I'm going to be using it in a little while. And I put the Pi 5, it's in a little metal case. It screws right into the back of the monitor. So it's part of the monitor, like I did with the 19-inch I have, the LCD. It's part of the monitor, but it's pretty cool.
I got to order some metric standoffs. That's what I'm sure.
Hey, Richie, is that a Dell monitor by any chance?
$229, something like that. I got to go look at the box again. But, yeah, it's the Asus V229 or VT229. I think it's VT229.
Asus got big support problems nowadays, Rich.
Like I bought that brand. It was affordable for a 22-inch touch, and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. 1980 by 1080p. Oh, it's really nice and shiny and glossy, and the picture's just so clear. You ought to see Oh man, it's just really nice. And I sound like Chris. I'm gonna KZXN you.
Do you know if, so I've been looking at them. I was gonna run, hold on one second. Thank you very much. Love you. Bye. I was gonna run one of the DAWs on it. and have it like laying flat in front of me, but maybe on a little bit of an angle to kind of make it like a mixer board. Do you know if that Asus is multi-touch or like can you touch like one with two fingers and slide two things at once, or is it just a single touch?
Touch, 10 touch.
Wow. So that's pretty good. And how much was it?
Amazon on sale. I think it was $196. Comes out to $209 or something like that.
That's not bad. And you said it's 22 inch.
I believe it's 22 inch, 21 point something. It is gorgeous. I gotta tell, and it's widescreen, nice. 1080p. That's the format.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that. Asus touchscreen. I'll find it on Amazon.
BT229, I believe that's what it is. I ordered it Friday. I got it Saturday night. So I had it last night, hooked it up. He finally delivered early. Good. And I got my fan. And right now I'm on a Pi 4 on a pedestal touchscrreen. That's what I'm using now. Raspberry Pi 4, pedestal touchscreen, but the Pi 4 is overclocked. And no audio, nothing. So I don't sound that good, I know.
Richie, you sound very good, actually. So you're on the G2 right now?
Hermes Lite 2 with the Raspberry Pi 4 computer mounted to the back of the Ramadan 10-inch touchscreen with it's built into a pedestal. It's really cool. I like it.
Yeah, you sound great. So you're saying you're not even using the EQ in Thetis?
I'm not running Thetis. I'm running Pi HP SDR. I'm running Pi computer with the new Pi software with only the 6-band EQ and the Focusrite SM58. I have nothing. Nothing's hooked up. I could hook up the Rode to this and really get some nice sound, but I haven't done it yet.
That's what I meant. Yes, I know you're on the Pi SCR, but you are using the EQ. It sounds good, man. You know, it's crisp. It sounds very, very good. So, you know, like I'm thinking about N2MDX, what he built, that portable Go box, basically. If he's running this Pi SCR in there with the 6-band, that's very sweet.
I sent him that image. I sent him the micro card, and I did the same for Mike, too. LYM. All right, let me stand by. Other guys are in here. They don't like the technical stuff, but all right, good. I'm glad I sound good, finally. I EQ'd it okay, the 6-band EQ. All right, KC2Z, you were back listening.
Hey, Dave, no, the Hermes does not have a tuner. No tuner.
Goes here, Richie. This is the trigger net, after all.
You don't hear me complain.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah, Chris.
Now, have you been playing around with your Potato at all?
Well, I play with my Potato all the time, but not the VoiceMeeter Potato. No. I haven't touched audio. I think we're going on like 2.5, 3 months. The last bug was getting the antenna switched. I did that, and I'll get back the audio bug very soon. I think it's going to start with a new microphone, but no Potato. This is the hybrid Bellari preamp running into the digital mixer, using some PreSonus DAW, back to the digital mixer, side-chained virtualizer for reverb, and a Dynacaster microphone. Over.
Ooh,
Back in a
man.
minute.
That sounds like a lot of equipment. But I think Harry is using it, and Mike is using it. I'm using it. We got a lot of VoiceMeeter Potato users out here.
Yes, you guys sound beautiful. God, every Irishman in the world is going to be jealous of that Potato because it sounds amazing.
1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4.
Now, if I'm going to go that route, Chris, you know I'm just going to have to use the banana.
Well,
So
no,
it's
the
good to use
banana
it.
doesn't have any of the tools. Doesn't have, all the audio, plugins. It doesn't have anything.
Oh, really? Well, so then if I ever try it, it will be the potato then. It will be. I don't know. It's so weird how this audio crap works. You go from nothing to all this equipment to then like maybe using some of the equipment with some of the digital, and I'm heading towards minimalistic. I think we're going to end with some minimalistic type of processing. Who the hell knows? Maybe I'll just process inside Thetis. I have a feeling we're going to get some VAC, not VAC, what the hell, oh my God, the plugin. What's the plugin suffix? VST? VST?
Harry, he's not even loaded. He's never even looked at the
a little later on.
And he
W2QAQ.
doesn't understand all the things that it can do. For one single piece of software that is free, I believe, it's pretty amazing.
No, you sound amazing. So tell me real quick, Chris, besides EQ and compression, what else does it offer?
EQ. It's got the parametric EQ. You can select your frequencies. It's got, obviously, it has compression. It has noise gating, very comprehensive noise gating. It's got de-esser. It's got reverb. It's got chorus. It's got, what else has it got? Harry, help me out here. It's got some features. I don't even have the latest version. So, everything you would normally want to do is built into VoiceMeeter Potato.
Does it have an exciter?
You talk like an amp, I can't answer that question. Maybe Harry can answer that question.
Like an aural, AURAL, an aural exciter. Like, an exciter, like an Aphex. Or a bass booster. Does it have any of that?
Well, it has all that, but there are different types of controls. You can get amazing bass, and then you couple that with the CFC on the 7000. Because that's what I'm doing. I have the VoiceMeeter Potato, and then I also use the DSP stuff with the Anon, and it works out very good. It does.
It really does. Well, I'm in the market for a new mic. I haven't had a new mic in a while. I think I'm going to go back the condenser route. I've been on this, for about 6 months now, this Dynacaster. The SC Electronics Dynacaster. So I don't know. When I get a new mic, maybe I'll download the damn VoiceMeeter and give it a shot. KB2 UKA. I just got to answer this message. I'm here though.
What happened to Mikey?
Mike was there. Harry just signed, I think. Harry, Mike, you guys there?
Yeah, Casey went on me. I'm still here. I'm just reading some stuff online.
Hey Jimmy, how you doing? Yeah, I'm just responding to a message. I'm here though. KB2 UK. I'll be on the side for a minute.
Man, Jimmy, you dropped way down on me.
Also, but not the companion, just a single generator, Harry. And I was just reading something on a little YouTube thing. There's a guy in New York City that runs those things, and he has one in a vending cart. He runs the thing for like 15 hours a day, and he's had it running for 5 years.
Sorry, Jim. Chris said you went real low on him. What's this guy running for 15 years?
Yeah, I just finished putting the cabinet back on my thing here. A little Honda generator. He has a concession stand in New York. You know, one of those little carts, and he's got some equipment in it. And he has a thing running. I think it's like 15 hours a day, right? And it's a generator. We were just talking about him earlier. And it's one of those little Honda 2200s. He's had it running for 5 years like that, and it all does is change the oil in it.
Wow. Well, those guys running those carts, they're going to be the best tester of a generator. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Why are you looking for one? Just for the house?
No, I already got one. I never use it. It's a little Honda. And I know Chris mentioned he had a couple of them. He runs with his trailer, but I just got a kick out of that. That's crazy.
I've got a Ryobi. I've got to drain the damn thing. I've only ran it. I've never had to run it in an emergency, like with no electricity. And I've only run engineered gas in it, but I couldn't get the damn thing started. I left the engineered gas in it probably for a year, about a year and a half. I got to drain it and start fresh.
True fuel, my brother. True fuel.
Yeah, that's what I have. That's engineered gas.
Well, that stuff doesn't go bad. I've been using that stuff for years.
Hold on, I'll run in the garage. Maybe it's not True Fuel. I got to look at the brand. But I have had True Fuel before. Well, yeah, that actually, it did make me nervous when I went to start it the other day. Because I said, oh, this is engineered gas shouldn't go bad, correct?
I'm not sure about that terminology. The only gas, I mean, you can put stable or stabilizers in your gas. I only use premium gas, in my small engines because premium seems to just not gum up like the cheap unleaded. But True Fuel, KZ2N. Like my son's quad, you have to. There's no more warranty on it, but you can't put any of that ethanol in there.
AA2OWZ.
Pick them up, Chris. I'm typing something. I'll be right there. KB2UKA.
About inflation. But you know what? The aggravation it saves you is it's well worth it.
Guys doubled.
What's up, Chris? Pick him up. I'm just finishing up typing something here. Go ahead, Station.
All right. Good evening. Yeah, ethanol gas. Number one enemy of small engines, I believe. You know, somebody says if it sits there, the actual benzene or whatever it is evaporates, and you're only left with the water if your gas gets old. So the chainsaw guys told me, he said, put premium in your chainsaws. You want non-ethanol gas, and I guess that's the other reason that marine gas is expensive, because it's higher quality gas. Supposedly without ethanol, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. And I used to buy my gas in the gas station, and if that boat sat for a while, they said that could ruin a lot of things on a marine engine, as far as corrosion, and you don't want to get stuck on the water. That's one of the worst things, you know. It's bad enough you're stuck on a road, and if you're in town, you know, when you push yourself into a local parking lot, you're okay. But in a boat, you don't have an option like to park yourself. You can anchor and call Mayday, I guess. But anyway, that's all I know about ethanol, and I've been putting the good stuff in all my small engines, and knock on wood, no problem. Back to you guys. KA2OWZ, Bob in New Jersey.
All right, Bob, this is Doug, KB2UKA. Now you got me thinking. Give me 2 seconds here. I got to go look at this stuff, see what the hell it is. KB2UKA. I'll be right back.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
I told you about the 2 antennas that got married?
No.
Well, the wedding was good, but the reception sucked.
There you go. Good one. I like it. I'm still laughing at the German Coast Guard.
Anyway, Bob, this is KZ2N. I'm here in Port Jefferson, which is right on the North Shore of Long Island, and this is Chris.
Okay, Chris. Yeah, we've talked before, but did you hear that one with the German Coast Guard?
The German Coast Guard? No. Sounds like the Polish terrorists, but go ahead.
Video going over this boat going up and down big waves with the wipers in the pilot room, and the guys listen to radio. We are sinking. We are sinking. And then the German guy goes, "Hello," and then you hear, "We are sinking. We are sinking. This is the German Coast Guard. What are you thinking about?"
Okay, I went over my head.
Well, it's the German accent. What are you thinking about? They're saying they're sinking. But the Germans say, "What are you thinking about?"
Okay, Bob. That's like the Polish, they sent this Polish guy over to blow up a car, and, he burnt his mouth on the tailpipe.
I heard that one before, too, but I laughed like hell at that German one. I said, "What is it you're thinking about?" Anyway, guess you had to be there.
KB2UKA. All right, let me see. Okay. Yeah, so this is 94 octane, no ethanol, engineered gasoline designed for small engines. And I just read the can. I should be able to leave this stuff in the engine, in the tank, for like 8 years, and it should work. So I probably have another issue with the generator. That's why it's not starting.
Well, what kind of generator is it, Doug?
It's a Ryobi. I forgot the power. It's pretty big, and it's not that old. It's probably like 3 years old, and I start it up every year for a couple hours, and that's it. And I store it. I went to start it the other day, and it wouldn't start. But I also didn't have a lot of time to fickle with it.
Yeah. Well, I like Ryobi products. I have all my drills and power tools, and it's reasonably priced. It works, and if it stops working, it's cheap enough to throw it out and go get another one.
I got a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, what I've been finding, if you don't start them enough and use them, the float actually sticks. The needle sticks into the seat. And I just had that happen with my Troy built. The thing ran for 33 years, no problems, but I hadn't had to use it for 2 years because I'm renting here and somebody's cutting the grass. And I had problems with it, and I said, well, it starts up right away. I cut about 14, 15 seconds of gas, a little longer than that. 30 seconds maybe of grass, and then it stalls out. So I put the choke on, it starts up and stalls out, starts up, stalls out. And then I let it sit for 10 minutes, it starts up, and I get that 30 seconds of grass cutting again. So I said, it must be starving for fuel. I pulled the fuel line off. The carbon, the fuel's flowing fine, so I corked it up. I took the bowl down, and the gas spilled out of the bowl, but then I noticed that it was just dripping drops. So what it was doing was building up gas in a bowl long enough to run for 30 seconds. And then it was starving after it ran the fuel out of the bowl, and it would stall. Because the float was stuck. The float was stuck, and I had to actually pull on the float, and I said, I'm probably going to break something here. And it popped out, and then all the fuel started flowing normally. And the needle needed replacing because the rubber was dried out. But that's what it was. Once I put the bowl back on, it ran normally again. So maybe that's what's happening with yours, Roger.
Yeah, so it's so I don't. If that's what's happening, I'll be surprised because it's so new. It's like 36 months old and it's barely been used. It could be happening. What I'm going to do tomorrow? It's supposed to rain here. Not going to be able to get much done. I'm going to wheel it outside and see what I could do. I am going to drain the gas for the hell of it. I'm going to drain the gas. I checked the oil. I put fresh oil in already. I'm going to see if I get this thing started. If not, then I'm going to have to start taking things apart.
Well, the bowl on it, the bowl on the carburetor, look at the bowl on the carburetor. It should have see if it has a single bolt in the middle. Just loosen that bolt. It's just a little short thing with a gasket. And the bowl should pop off, and look and see if you got any gunk in there. And if the fuel line's hooked up, that thing should leak like a sieve, meaning that the fuel is flowing, and then when you push up on the float, it should shut off. So maybe you just got gunk in there from the ethanol, because what happens is when the gas evaporates, you're left with the water. It causes rust in that fuel bowl, and you'll be surprised to see that those fuel bowls rust the way they rust in a short time. And that's the biggest problem, is these things got to be run quite often, Roger.
Yeah, you know what? You might be right. I'm trying to think back. There might have been a time I put regular gas in it, and if that's the case, there's going to be some ethanol. This stuff now that I have has no ethanol in it, but I don't think that might not be the last fill I did on it. All right, I'm going to give that a look tomorrow. Thanks for the advice.
Okie doke. AA2OWZ. You know what else you can try, too? And don't call me stupid. Shut everything off. Shut everything off, shut everything off. I don't know if it's going to work. This works when something's flooded. So you shut, like you're not trying to start it, but you pull the cord like 5 or 6 times. And then you turn everything on real quick, including the choke, and pull the cord. If it starts up, it was probably getting flooded, in which case it's getting too much fuel. You can also take the air filter off. And if you see fuel in there with that air filter and it smells heavily of gas, you're getting flooded, Roger.
All right. Well, it's been sitting now untouched for about 3 weeks. So if I don't get started, checking that air filter is a good way to see if you're flooded.
Yep. All right. Good luck.
I got a good signal on you. Where are you in Jersey?
I'm in North Jersey, a town called Oak Ridge, which is in Morris County, near Sussex County. Very close to West Milford and Sparta. Those are good towns to use as a reference.
Ah, Sparta. I had a meeting in First Hope Bank in Sparta about 6 months ago. Beautiful town. I love Sparta. Nice drive there, too. I'm on Long Island. I'm 50 miles east of Manhattan on the North Shore, about a half mile from the Sound, up in the hills here, and you're peaking 25 over. Nice signal.
Hard to believe, because months ago I was on a long wire that was only 12 feet off the ground. And, you know, people heard me, but they had a hard time. But I finally I'm moving away in a week, can you believe it? But I finally decided to put an 80-meter dipole up with a fishing rod, surf pole, and cast it over the limbs, and then pull the line back over, then hook the antenna, and I made an 80-meter dipole, made some homemade ladder line. Took a long time to make that ladder line. I'll never do that again. I only got 40 feet of it. I felt like I was going to never get done. But it works good. And you guys are all coming in real strong, but you kind of always did, you know. I don't have an amp here. We're just 200 watts.
Where you moving to?
I got to think about it. Bowley's Island, South Carolina, south of Myrtle Beach. Myrtle's Inlet, too.
You going into an HOA?
Nope.
Thank God. Yeah, well, we can work you from South Carolina up here. No problem.
Yeah, what time? Not at night.
I meet a group of guys on $39.99. North Carolina, South Carolina, no problem. All night long.
That's later, right?
No, right around. I could hear them now. If I want, I don't know if they're on yet, but no, usually around 8 o'clock. No problem at all. And then in the morning, I start to lose them on 80. Well, in the summer it's earlier, probably around like 7:45, and then we switch to 40.
Yeah, I noticed that too with the guys on the 80, yeah. Okay, very good. Well, I'll have an amp there too. I got an Ameritron AL1200. The house is wired with 220 in the shack. I think I'm going to end up with an off center fed 80-meter offset center fed dipolers. I think that's what's going to work there, and it's going to be favoring the north. That should help too. What's the other thing I was going to say? Well, we'll see what happens. That's all I can say. At least I'll have some power to put out.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm on a similar. I'm on an 80-meter doublet right now. So it's 62.5 feet each leg, so 125 feet. It's center fed, 600 ohm ladder line, like you. It's up at 80 feet in the trees, and then so the ladder line comes straight down, probably about just about maybe like 77 feet, and it attaches to a remote legal limit tuner right under the apex outside. I got a post in the ground, and the tuner's right there, and the ladder line connects right there. And then I run 150 feet of LMR 400 into the shack. This thing is these doublets are big performers at that height. I have no gain here. I have a little gain on 40. And then above 40, there's like 5 to 7 dB of gain, depending on what band I'm on.
Yeah, that sounds real good. Well, you got the height, and that makes all the difference in the world. This one is at 35 feet one leg, and the other one's at 50. Because that's just the way the cookie crumbles with the trees here. When I lived in Oak Ridge, well, I live in Oak Ridge now, but I lived about a mile away in another house that I owned. And I had a 560-foot loop up at 55 feet all the way around. And that was a great performer. And I had a 6-element tri-bander. And that was a great performer. But now everything's changing, and the tri-bander's in bad shape. It's going to be a mono bander for 18 megahertz, 17 meters rather. So I'm going to turn it into a mono bander because it's a KLM KT34XA with the big boom and all those little elements, the stuff they use, that little 3/8 tubing. I don't even know if it's 3/8 tubing. I don't think you can get parts for it anymore. It would be expensive. So I figured I could make a 4 or 5 element mono bander on 17 meters, and that should be fun. And then we'll see what happens. But I won't get the height you have because, like an idiot, we took down all those beautiful big pines because we just didn't want them blowing over during hurricane season onto the house. So now I got these scrubby little trees. I got one tree that's significant, and the best I could do on that tree would be a inverted V, so that might work out. I might have to go with that. But I figured if I tried your center-fed dipole first, even though it's low, if it don't work, I'll swap it out for the inverted V. By the way, my ladder line is 450 ohms. And I should have just bought those 600 ohm, those things the guys selling that clip onto the wire, because I use the zip ties and the little plastic feed-throughs for electric fencing. Took a long time to make that, Roger.
Well, I'm going to drop it. Let's see if Chris is still in here. So my apex is at 80. One leg terminates down probably at 60. So mine is slightly inverted. And then the other leg's probably a little bit lower, maybe 45. So the inverted V works really well because you get more of that omnidirectional pattern, I think. And then if you have the ladder line coming straight down. Now, your ladder line, if you're using those fence post things, that's about 4 inches, right?
I cut them into thirds. I think it was thirds or fourths. So they're about an inch and a little over an inch. So, yeah, no, I didn't use them that width.
Okay, yeah. So then, yeah, you're at 450. Because, let's see, I'm just trying to remember the chart. 12 gauge at 4 inches is just about, it's like 590. 14 gauge at 4 inches is like 570. So yeah, that's what I'm using 14 gauge. So I'm technically like 560, 570 ohms, but it's close enough. It's always close, but you cut it. So yeah, that's why you're at that 450-ish number. Let me drop it here. Chris, you still there?
But you got Kebby 1BM, okay?
What's up, Isaac, brother? How you doing, man?
Morning. Hey, KZ2N. What's up, Isaac?
I'm doing good. I'm just here, man. I'm listening to the super stations, okay?
Gather round, get yourself an adult beverage, and you'll be in second heaven. KZ2N, go ahead. I'm listening in. Go ahead, Bob and Doug. Listen, I'm enjoying the conversation.
Well, Chris just hit 40 over here, but Chris and I are pretty close. What do you think we are? 20 miles, Chris?
Yeah, probably. We're both on the North Shore, so I take my boat from Port Jeff to the North Shore there. So, yeah, no, we're not that far.
Yeah, he's solid 40 over. Isaac, you're breaking 20. You're like 20, 25. So is Bob. Yeah, so this is Bob. So I got lazy. I didn't want to build the damn thing because I know how long it takes to make the ladder line. And it's probably even quicker at 4 inches because, you know, when you're working with smaller parts, it's a bigger pain in the butt. So I bought a true ladder line pre-built. And they do good work. But I asked them to custom make me a 12-gauge one, and they wouldn't do it because they have everything's cut and everything for a max of 14 gauge. So and now they don't. You got a special request 14 gauge. Their regular one is 16 gauge. So they said we can make you a 14 gauge one. I have all this flex weave here, 12 gauge. This winter, or maybe in the fall, I should probably start it now. I want to build a 12 gauge one, and I want to build the damn thing at 6-inch space. So I'm a true 600 ohm. The problem is I can't find a good spacer that's 6 inches. So I think I'm just going to have to make it with tubing. I'm going to have to buy tubing and cut it at 6 inches. And just do it on my own. I bought these little, I did try to make it. I bought, I guess they were like plexiglass clear tubes off Amazon. They were 6 inches, but they didn't have a smooth edge. So when I would pull the zip tie through to make it tight, the edge was cutting into the outer jacket of the wire. So you know what would happen over time. I'd be stripping the whole damn ladder line up out in the wind. So I stopped that. I'm going to have to probably just buy tubing and cut it.
Well, there's a guy who makes ladder line clip-on snaps with 600 ohms. I'm just going to try and look that up now, but my friend just told me about it. He said there's an amateur guy that makes them and they snap on. I don't know if they're for 12 gauge though. Well, let me ask you what the advantage of making it out of 12 gauge is as opposed to 16 or 14. I mean, if that's working for you, that 14 gauge, what are you going to get out of making it out of 12 gauge, if I may ask?
So 2 things. 1, those snap-ons don't fit 12 gauge. I've already looked at them. They're great, but they don't fit. 2, you're correct. It's complete redundancy. It's only because maybe a little more strength, especially if I use this either flex weave or this DX50 stuff that has a Kevlar coating underneath the jacket and then the copper's underneath that. There probably is no advantage. I'm running full legal limit right now into 14 gauge, and there's no problem. Will it tune better? Will the bandwidth be a little bit better going a gauge thicker? I don't know, maybe. But it's just all being fanatical. That's all it is. 14 gauge is 100% fine.
Comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Doug, this is KC1RMY. Those spacers that you already have, the clear ones, you say they get sharp edges that are cutting into the wire, just to burn them. I mean, just hit the outside edges with some sandpaper or on a sander, and then the inside edges, all you have to do is just kiss those with a countersink or a larger drill bit. That'll break the edges.
I thought of that too, Rick. Fred, sorry. I thought of that too. So, yeah, that might be an option. You would think, half a foot, you would think you could find more things that you could use as a spacer at that length, but it's kind of tough. The other thing is, to just go down to the Home Depot and get that tubing that they use for sprinkler lines. That's what True Ladder Line uses. And I could just get 10 feet of that and cut it.
Yeah, I hear some people use, I'm not sure what the length is, but they'll go down to Staples and they buy themselves a pack of the Parker Brother pens, and then you just pull a pen out and use that as the tube.
I thought of that too. And then I found they're acrylic. That's what they are. They're acrylic, clear acrylic, sturdy tubes.
How will they hold up in cold weather?
Yeah, you know what? They might not. Or are you talking about the acrylic or the pen? Well, the pens are probably acrylic also.
Yeah, that clear plastic is probably going to get white within a year or two. If there's any water gets in it, it will freeze and it'll crack.
Yeah, hence, I guess, why the sprinkler tubing's very popular.
Yeah, Roger. Well, I'm looking at these spacers. It says $15.90 for 50 of them for 2.5 millimeter wire. I'll assume that's 14 gauge. I don't know.
Yeah, there's some aquarium supply stores, too, that you can get either quarter-inch or 3/8 tubing. You're just going to cut it to size. Just take either a 45 or 42 tooth or a 65 tooth. Put your blade on backwards, then you can cut those to size.
I'm looking at another one here. Brand new black Delran ladder snap. 100-foot kit, do-it-yourself, 600-ohm ladder line with the quickly you can snap together your ladder line. Let's see, UV stabilized Delran, low loss, cost effective. So there you go. That's $45 though. I don't know. It says it does 100 feet worth. I think I'd probably buy something like that. Looks pretty rugged too.
Yeah, well, that Delran, that stuff I know that handles heat very well. It probably handles cold very well also. Bob, are you on a Yaesu?
I'm on a Yaesu Mark V. I got the processor on because the headset has a dynamic mic that doesn't pick up well.
Well, when you said 200 watts, I figured you were on a Yaesu. I just want to let you know it's it's one of the cleanest Yaesus I've seen in a long time. You have I see almost no IMD.
Oh, thank you. Well, I know 2GM I run also is one of the cleanest radios. Even with the amp on, I had a neighbor. He watched me on a Spectrum Analyzer. He goes, "You got the cleanest radio station I ever saw. Even with your amp on." He says, "I've never seen anything like it." And that's a tube break now. Somebody turned this radio on, one of the kids. Turned the radio on, and it was in a transmit mode with no load on it, and I lost one of the finals. I put a new set of finals in GEs, and boy, talk about TVI and phone, and I neutralized them. But they were going out of neutralization shortly after warm-up, and it was in the Fox Tango newsletter that the GE elements were too thin and would sag, and they recommended not using GE. I couldn't believe the trouble that caused for like 4 days, and finally I get fed up, and I put a couple of ham radio pulls in, RCA, or what a Raytheon 6146Ws, and for now 45 years, no issues. Roger.
Oh wow, that's great. Yeah, but I see you're probably like 80 hertz low. I wasn't even looking at the high end, but it's clean. It's clean. These new Yaesu rigs, they're a mess. But also you're running it right. Your ALC's good. Even when if you have a 1200 watt amp, you're probably running it at 1000 watts. These guys turn everything to the right, and then they complain when sometimes when guys like me are 4K wide, but I'm only 4K wide. You got these guys at a 2.9, but they're really 7K wide because of the IMD. But it's really, really clean. And Chris, for the record, we're 11.8 air miles from each other.
Hey, WZ2P, found some insulators for you, bro.
What's up, Rich? You found something for me?
I did, because I wanted to let you know that the same company that makes the insulators for Harbor Freight happens to inventory the 4-inch ones, but if you go to if you're in front of your computer, go to AmericanGrazingLands.com. American Grazing, that's Grazing, lands, plural.com. They have those insulators, 200 pack for $19.95, already 6 inches. It'll make your life much easier.
That's great.
Oh, wow. All right, I'm on the website. Let's see. What category do you think it's under?
Type in fin tube insulator, like FINTUBE insulator, right? 3 words, 6 inch, and see what you come up with. They're in Idaho. They have a phone number there.
Holy crap, they have them. $20 for 200 of them.
Yeah, and then you don't have to cut anything. That's the beauty of it.
And I'm just looking at them. They're the same as the 4-inch. I'm just trying to see. It looks like the edges are they rounded? Yeah, they're smooth enough. All right. Yep, that's going to be it. 200. I got to do my math on 80 feet if I space it like every 18 inches probably.
So the only modification you're going to have to consider if you're going to do it, the way I did it with plastic ties, you got to get extra long plastic ties. So get those, I forget who makes the ones that are UV resistant. But anyway, that'll get you along, at least get you on your way to a no-cut solution, WZ2.
Yeah, boy, you found them pretty quick. I searched for about 3 weeks and I couldn't find them. And I was 6-inch fence insulator. This place never came up. They got to get on the Google algorithm a little bit better.
These, and they're just like the ones from not Harbor Freight, from Tractor Supply, but they're just longer. Yeah, so there you go. I've got 6-inch spacers on.
So what gauge wire are you using?
I'm using 12 gauge. That's my loop, my 160 meter loop's 12 gauge, and my ladder line's 12.
All right, so you're right at like 600 ohms pretty much on the chart. And then what do you go to? Do you go directly to a tuner or a Ballon or what?
I've got a tuner with a Ballon built in, the ATR30 manual tuner, and I just hook it up to the posts right in the shack. I've got the tuner right in front of my window, though, so only about 6 inches of ladder line comes into the shack.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Wow. All right, cool. Awesome. I wonder what 600 ohms is going to do to my MFJ remote tuner. And the only reason I use an MFJ is because the only damn one. Well, no, there's another one. There's the one that True Ladderline makes. He makes it like a tank. It's like almost $3,000. That's why I'm not using that one.
Yeah, but just so you know, I can't test it at high power, but I have an AH4, which is probably a lot like your remote, the big one that you got that handles a kilowatt or whatever it does. The AH4, if it's the similar design to that thing, it'll take it just fine. You put one side of the ladder line to the like the end fed post, and the other one to the ground. You're ready to go. You just have to spread it at enough so that it'll go beyond 6 inches at the feed point.
You know what? I didn't even think of doing that, Rich. What I'm doing is I have a 4-to-1 Ballon Designs Ballon barrel connected directly to the antenna, the UHF connector, to the SO239, directly in there. And then I connect the ladder line to the posts on the Ballon.
Well, that'll work too. I'm just letting you know. You might. If you're interested, you might try what I described, because this way you could just run the coax right into your shack, right? And you're tuning it, right at the ladder line there outside. But I did that as an experiment. I ran it for quite a while at 100 watts, and it worked well. But just a thought.
Now, I don't think it will work with this MFJ, and here's why. Before I barrel connected the 4-to-1, I tried a 1-to-1, and I couldn't tune. So if the one-to-one's almost like having nothing there, right? So I don't know if it'll work if I go to because yes, I have the same thing. I've got the one post for the long wire, and I've got a bunch of ground terminals, so I could try it. But if it didn't tune with the one-to-one, I don't think it'll tune that way.
Well, remember, you got to be careful of the length of the ladder line that you bring to the tuner, right? You got to watch the the odd harmonics or whatever. So that could also be a reason, right? If you had a weird length of ladder line that it didn't.
That's true. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to leave everything as is right now because it's working beautifully. But when I put up the new one, that's what I'm probably going to experiment.
In my case, I've got literally about 58 feet of ladder line. It's pretty short. And it goes to an arbitrary convenient spot. I'm on the second floor of my house here where the shack is. And it comes right into the window, and bingo. I've never had a problem. I can tune this from 6 through 160, no problem.
That's great. That's great. I'd like to try a loop again. It's hard to get my woods are so wooded. It's hard to get like clean runs. I'm lucky I was able to get this up. And by the way, Rich, you're 30 over KB2 UKA.
Yeah, you were 40 over before Chris was 30 when you guys were giving each other signal reports, and I'm only running 80 watts. So, okay, let me let you guys go. I'm just listening on the background here, enjoying the conversation, and there you go. Enjoy. I'll be listening. WZ.
Yeah, Doug, your loop don't have to be perfect. You'll still be happy with it. I know what you're talking about. Trying to get a clean run is a long, hard task, you know.
Oh, Bob, I moved into this house almost a year ago, last August. So the first antenna I put up and it took me 12 hours. I didn't have the right equipment. It was a loop. Well, I tried to double it up, and I couldn't get a straight run. So I put up basically a flat top delta loop. It was some type of triangle. And it was fed with ladder line, and it worked okay. It did not work as good as this stublet's working. Then when the leaves fell in the fall, I was able to see better. And I ended up, the problem wasn't getting the ropes over the trees. It was getting the actual antenna up, hoisted up, because there's so many different height trees with so many different limbs. I would hit something, it would get caught. So what I ended up doing, I bought a fishing drone. It's a big drone that can hold 5 pounds. And it's got what do you call it? An arm underneath it that you can release. So what I was able to do with the drone, I was able to get my rope, my arbor rope, all the way above the canopy of the tree. So that was one, I was going to be able to get the height. I would drop it, then I would pull the Dacron rope over. And the other thing it allowed me to do was actually fly the antenna. I'd grab one end of the one leg, and I would fly it over all the other crap that it would get caught on. And then I drop it, and this is from the center where the apex was. I would then grab the other leg and fly that the other way over all the crap. And then I was able to hoist it up, and now I'm able to put an antenna up in about an hour instead of 12 hours. So I might be able to do the same thing for a loop.
Well, that's quite an accomplishment. Yeah, I can see where that would work. I mean, I heard people saying they were using drones, and I said, yeah, I can see how that would be a big advantage. Now, the way I was doing it, you had to have extra people, and where you know you're going to hoist the antenna up on one end, and the center, let's say the center's already in the right place, but now you got to clear all the limbs in between where you're hoisting it on one end and the center, and you got to throw parachute rope over lots of it. Somebody's got to stand there and hold both ends, and then kind of pull it out to the side. It's not that easy. It's still hard. And then you just kind of pull up and down, you fish it until that guy that's pulling it to the side gets it over the limb. And, of course, you got to do that at every limb. And then when it gets over the limb, you can just let go of one end of the parachute rope and pull it back over, but it takes a long time. What I was doing, and I got to say, I had an advantage. I worked for the cable company, and I had a bucket truck. So I was going right up to the job there and cutting trees that were in my way out of the way, wherever I could. And that seemed to do the trick. The other thing I did, too, is I left my loop really, really saggy. And one thing I learned from watching after storms and trucks hitting wires on the road, they always broke the cable line, but they never broke the phone line. The phone lines were always saggy, real low. And they were lower than the cable line because that's where they're supposed to be, but they were saggy. The cable line was less sag in it. When a truck hit, the cable line, it snapped like a rubber band. When it hit the phone line, it did a whipping effect off the front of the trailer, and it skimmed right off of the roof. I said, well, son of a gun, I decided to make my loop real loose and saggy, and I used inverted hooks, fence pole insulators from Tractor Supply. One hook points down, one hook up. So they're basically free-floating. So if a tree limb fell, it could pull the wire practically to the ground, but it wouldn't break because it would just take up all the slack. And it would go through those inverted hooks like fishing rod eyelets. And then I just have to go around and, after I got the limb off the wire, go around and give a tug here, give a tug there to get the antenna back in position. Roger?
Yep, roger that. And my doublet's saggy also for that reason. Because these trees, man, they catch a breeze and they whip around, 7 to 10 feet in either direction. And I'll be sitting out there on the back porch and I'll just watch it. I see no tightness in the wire at all. Unless a hurricane comes through here, which, by the way, they're saying the Northeast is a target this season, so knock on wood. But unless a tree actually comes down, I don't think this antenna is ever coming down. Who just joined? KB2 UKA. What's up, Isaac? I hear you, brother. And then I heard a two-tone.
Okay, I'm gonna leave now, but you know what? Every time I put something out here, I add something, you always get to help me. But what number of recording is this? I want to listen to this microphone.
All right, let's see. We are at 57 minutes, 45 seconds.
Yeah, yourself. My son came up here and bring this microphone for me today. Because he do beats and music and all this crap in the basement. I bring this microphone up here, so you can use it there. Man, I went on the internet, this microphone costs a lot of money. But I'm going to listen to it when I'm done this. So 73 dead dog, thanks for the help. Everyone be here.
All right, Isaac, Roger. Well, yeah, those mics are. Remember, though, whenever you change mic, you got to re-EQ to get the full effect of it. But you sound great. KB2 UKA.
So one of these days when you're not busy, you can assist me there, so no problem. Is the TLM what? What is the TLM 107 something? Anyway, thanks, Doug. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And if I don't talk to you, I hope you enjoy your holiday tomorrow. KB2 UK, KB1B, Sunday Tuesday.
If that's a TLM 103, don't give it back to him, Isaac.
107.
Hold on. Because I know the 103. Let's see, TLM 107. Hold on. Oh, wow. Okay. I actually like this better than the 103. Don't give it back, Isaac. Keep it.
Well, and guess what? I was on there with my friends and I'm looking at the 102. And all these years, because he got married and went to Georgia, and he was sitting downstairs in his shack for all this time he wasn't here. And I'm here this morning and he bring it up here and tell me, Dad, you can use this. I'm like, all right, thanks, Dead Dogs. I'll talk to you tomorrow. KB1,
All right, 73, Isaac. Have fun with it. KB2 UKA, standing by.
Hey, Doug, I was just going to say, I don't know if a lot of hams know this, but there's a lot of counterfeit of the Neumann microphones, like a ridiculous amount of counterfeit. A lot of guys are buying them on like Facebook Marketplace. You know, it looks like a good deal, and you got to know what you're buying with those. They look impeccably the same, but they're not even close.
Oh, yeah, I know that. I know. If I only buy this crap either from Sweetwater, and then I've got like 3 or 4 sellers on Reverb that I trust, and I go to those guys too. But yeah, they're counterfeiting everything.
Yeah, like the 102s, the 103s, maybe the 107. There's a lot of counterfeiting, and there's a lot of them don't have serial numbers, although some counterfeiters do have them. So, it's just one of those things. I would buy them the same way you're buying them. Guitar Center, Sweetwater, something legit. But yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, and I bet when it's counterfeit, especially if you're using it in the environments that we're using it in with all this RF, I bet you'll have major RFI problems.
Well, the guts are nothing like the originals, right? They're using this mic is homemade, right? I bought a 34 millimeter element from China, gold sputtered, and I did the circuit. This is home built. I mean, I bet you if I put this near a Neumann, it would not be as good, but I bet you'd be a while before you figured it.
Well, it sounds great. It sounds wonderful. Yeah, I'm going to get a new mic. I've sold everything. I've had the 103, sold it. I try all this crap and then I sell it. And I either break even or lose like $100 because I don't keep them long. I've been on the SE Electronics Dynacaster now, which I bought this thing like 2.5 years ago. I never sold it. I love it. But I think I'm ready to go for a condenser again. So I don't know. Well, my birthday's coming up. Maybe I'll ask the old lady for a microphone, which I'll end up buying, but it'll be allowed when it's a present.
Yeah, it's hard, for radio. Some of it's overkill, but it's hard to beat like the RE320 and stuff like that. I mean, they're all great microphones, and for $400 or whatever it is, you don't have to spend $1,000.
In my whole audio adventure with ham radio, those are the only microphones I haven't tried, and I think that's what I've been looking at, one of those. And I've been listening to comparison videos on the difference between all the different REs. I forgot which one I was thinking of getting. Oh, God, is it the RE27 and then there's letters after it?
Yeah, ND, RE27 ND.
Is that what you're on, Chris?
Oh, yeah. Using my RE27ND. I had the Neumann. Those are the only 2 mics I've ever had. KC2N.
What I love about it, and I learned this from the video a couple of weeks ago when I was watching it, while there might be some volume changes, it's got that technology. All the REs have it. Well, your mic, the RE20, whether you're an inch from it or like 4 inches from it or talking on an angle, it sounds the same.
You doubled.
Bad double. Go ahead, Chris.
I was just saying, listen to Chris, right? The articulation. Even he's got a vegetable garden in his shack. Potatoes, tomatoes, and lettuce, and something else. I think VoiceMeeter. But the mic's producing the articulation there. Listen to him, man. It's like I don't think it gets much.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And if you're moving around if you type it on the keyboard and waving your arms while you're talking, you can move your mouth away from that mic, and you could be on an angle or directly at it, and it's supposed to sound the same. That's like one of the benefits of that microphone. Chris, you know what it's called? There's a feature that it has that's allowing you to like move around while you're talking.
one of the things that I like about it also. It's got the pop filter built in. You really don't need any cover or any pop filter. With the Neumann TLM 103, you couldn't use that microphone without some sort of spit shield.
But Chris, can you change? Can you change the way the polar pattern on that mic? Does it have a switch to do that? Because I think that's what Doug is getting at, like hypercardioid or cardioid versus something else. Do you have a switch on that?
No, that's not it. There's no switch on that.
It's got 3 switches, which I run in the towards the front of the microphone position. You can look it up, RE27ND. It's got 3 switches.
It doesn't have yes, it does, but none of them are for polar pattern. It's got a neutral or a low cut. It's got a mid-range adjustment, and it's got a high-end adjustment. Hold on, let me see if it lists it here. Oh God. It's some patented technology that RE uses in their mics. It's basically a proximity. It allows no proximity effect. And I'm trying. Hold on. It's called Variable D. That's what it's called. Variable D for minimal proximity effect.
Yeah, and the mic's $500, $499 everywhere.
Right. It's a $500 microphone, which is not outrageous when you look at the price of a PR, 781 or whatever. It's on the higher end, but it's not a $3,000 microphone, and I really don't know too many other mics that can beat it in a broadcast environment. If you watch Fox Business, it's what they still use. If you watch CNN, it's what they're all still using these RE microphones.
It's a lifetime mic, right? You treat it right, you don't drop it. You'll never need another.
You know what? I'm getting a little bonus on Friday. I think I'm going to buy myself a microphone on Friday.
My RE27, Doug, I bought it in 2008. And when I originally bought it, I came from a hand microphone. I never knew anything about audio. I had this little IC7000, the ICOM little radio, which I got that was a lot of bang for the buck with that thing too. But I listened to Richie, KF2GG, and my wife was yelling at me, turn that down. And, I didn't even have T20s or anything. I don't know what I was listening on. But she couldn't stand listening to the radio. So I put on some Walkman stereo headphones that I just had. Remember Walkmans back then were popular. And KZ2N. And all of a sudden, I'm on, I think we're on 3814, and Richie comes on. He's using that MP1000, and he had the RE27, and that's exactly the microphone he had. And I was just stunned that ham radio could sound that good. So that's how I first discovered the RE27. It was Richie. And everybody keeps playing around with microphones, but I still love my RE27. I've had it since 2008.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to be the mic I'm going to try. And Richie is now on a Neumann U87AI. He just got it as a present. Have you heard him on it?
I was listening, and he sounds excellent. He's got a good voice, Rich does. But no, the original mic, where it all began for me, and I think for Rich, it's this RE27, and there's better microphones for sure. But I remember, I said, $500 for a microphone. What is this, the Blues Brothers? I've had cars more, that cost more than that. But anyway, so I bought it. I said, this is the last microphone I'm ever going to need. And so far, this is what I'm using.
Now, are you using the RE shock mount?
Oh, yeah, have the 309A shock mount. Oh yeah, very, very good. I love it.
And that's sold separately, correct?
Yes, that is sold separately. It's not. I think it's like $99. It's not overly priced, and they even give you extra rubber bands, which I've never needed. It's the same rubber bands. They're not rubber bands like you're thinking, but the rubber shock stuff. They even give you extra ones. But I don't know. Same thing. It's been set up like this since 2008, Doug.
All right, sweet. All right. So, I'm going to get myself one of those, and then we'll set up a new audio profile. See, I can, if I'm putting a new mic on the stand, I start from scratch. I don't even try it once. Like, this profile will not hear that microphone. I will go somewhere alone into a Kiwi SDR for an hour, and then it'll be ready. But I never hook up a new mic to an existing profile.
I hear you. Man, the day goes so fast, and but I spent a lot of time outside today. It's almost 10 to 9. Do you guys ever watch that show Lost? I'm in season 4 right. I'm telling you that it's an older show, but it's very good.
It's very funny that you mentioned that. No, I never watched it, and I was on Facebook yesterday, and you know the way the ending of Lost was posted on this page that I don't even follow. That was like advertised to me. So don't worry, my lips are sealed. But I know how the damn show ends, and I never watched it. We're watching Suits right now. I never watched Suits. So we're on season 3 of that.
Where are you watching it, Chris? On Netflix?
Oh, thank you, Doug, for not telling me how it ends. I've been enjoying it. I'm at the end of season 4. I only got a couple seasons left, but it's been a fun watch, and because there's nothing really worth watching on TV at this point. So, not this any the new stuff, but anyway, so that's what I've been watching that, and I've been enjoying it. I love Evangeline Lilly. I mean, she was the Ant-Man and the Ant-Man and the Wasp series, and I liked her in that. But watching her as a young woman in this, she's not ugly.
What's her name?
Evangeline Lilly. That's Kate.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, she's not bad at all. She's Canadian.
What is it about these Canadians? Anyway, so I got NASCAR running right now, and man, this is a night race. They're all lit up. They're just about halfway through. They're at 202 laps of 400. And man, it must be tough to drive 400 laps on this oval circle at 200 miles an hour. I don't know how these guys do it.
What are you watching it on? Is it on Fox?
It is on. What is it on here? Yeah, Fox. Yep, Fox. It's on Fox. You know what? I've got this new YouTube TV. I cut the cord. I don't have cable. I don't have anything, and all the restrictions, because I used to have a TV in the living room and a TV in the kitchen, and you needed these cable boxes and cable run to them and holes in the wall and cables falling off the house. Where now this stuff is all Wi-Fi. This is this tiny little thing that I connect to the HDMI port, and it runs off the USB port for power. And wow, what a difference. Yeah, so YouTube TV, I've been loving it. And you use the Chromecast device for the delivery. Or if you have a computer or a PC, like right now I'm on my PC, and I use it through a web browser. But YouTube TV, it's like $70 a month. And I can have 3 streams or 3 different people or users using it. Unlimited DVR. So my son has his own account. The wife has her own account. I have my account. And we were paying like $350 for all kinds of cable TV services. Where this is it's the same thing. Basic cable with some sports channels and stuff like that. Your locals and. What a deal! It's like $70 a month to YouTube TV.
Welcome to the club, Chris. I cut the cord, 5-6 years ago. Yeah, we use Hulu, and a couple of other ones. And yeah, I've got 2 gigabit internet coming in from Fios. It's $100 a month. And then I've got probably another 100 in streaming. So I'm at 200 a month. I was at 380, 400 a month. And this is 6-7 years ago for all the cable boxes, all the channels. And now I got everything. And everything is wireless, like you said.
Hey, in case you guys are interested, I've got YouTube also, TV. You remember... Well, I was a big Buffalo Bills fan, so a couple of the games you had to go through Peacock or whatever, which is another paid service. But on YouTube TV on your cell phone, if you put a GPS spoofing application, I set myself up to be in Buffalo because it was playing on the local affiliate there in Buffalo, so I spoofed my GPS location from my cell phone to be in Buffalo, and then I was able to stream it on my 75-inch Sony. But yeah, you could do that kind of thing, like with these sporting events. If you're locked out because of regions, you could put yourself anywhere you want to be with those spoofing programs, and YouTube won't even know.
Wow, I wonder how that'll work if with the Jersey casinos, because you can gamble on your phone in Jersey.
Oh, you could do that? Yeah, just spoof yourself to be in Jersey. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, there's you have to put your phone. I mean, there's a so I don't have an Apple. I have an Android, and these are typically only capabilities on an Android platform because you have to put your phone in developer mode, and if you're like developing apps, you can actually mess around with your GPS locations to test your apps and stuff. So it's not hard to do, but it's Android only. Just FYI.
Can you do the same thing with VPN?
Maybe. I guess you could. If you have a VPN, I guess you could. I do not have a VPN.
So I have a VPN app on my iPhone, and it puts me in Frankfurt, Germany, or wherever the hell it wants to put me. But you can't. That won't work with the gambling sites. Trust me, I've tried.
Well, do you have an Android? Try it with but just look at the store there, and download like a spoof. There's a bunch of several free.
No, I have an iPhone, unfortunately. What'd you say, Fred?
I said even if you go local, like Atlantic City or somewhere like that, you won't allow it if you put your location there.
So I live in New York. If I drive into Jersey, I could play blackjack for real money on my phone. But if I'm in New York, you don't have access. I don't like sport betting, so I could do that in New York. But I'm not into it. I'd rather upload $200 and play blackjack and see what happens.
No. My point is, if you change your VPN location, let's say to Atlantic City, could you do betting on your computer?
Oh, no, because the betting sites don't let you in if you have a VPN on.
No, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm sure they're wise to it.
But the spoofing, they might not be wise to that.
That's more raw.
Yeah, I said the spoofing, they might not be able to detect that.
So you ready for this? During COVID, I got really bored, and I started hacking around. And in my Honda CRV, I don't pay for XM, but I downloaded. You could go to the web store, to the Android store, and download the dealership XM radio app to activate. Like if they sell used cars, the dealerships. XM gives them the ability to turn them on for like 3 months, but it has to be done at a dealership. Like, so what I did is I spoofed myself at one of my local dealerships, and I put my phone code, my XM radio code in. And during COVID, unfortunately, I wasn't on the road much, but I think I had like 2 years worth of service.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I just bought a Wrangler like 3 months ago, and it just ended. And I ain't paying for that crap. Maybe I'll try that. Guys, I got to get out of here. I hope you have a great Memorial Day tomorrow. I'll be on in the morning. It's supposed to be crappy here, so I'll probably be in the house a lot. So Richie, Bob, Fred, Chris, Jimmy, if you're still in there. Richie, other Richie, if you're still in there. You guys have a great night. 73 KB2 UK clear.
Yeah, I'm checking out also. KA2OWZ. Good night, everyone.